Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about relationships, what it was like when we were in jail. It was insane. There were so many different kinds of relationships going on. The girl with the girl inmate, you had the girl and the guy inmate, you had the CEO and the inmate, you had the inmate in jail and their loved one on the outside. It was just crazy and it was just a lot. There was a lot of drama going on in jail. I've been to jail multiple times. Some of the times I was in jail and my boyfriend wasn't at the time. The last time I went to jail, he actually went to jail. So it was just crazy. Having a relationship with someone that's locked up when you're locked up. We weren't allowed to send actual mail like inmate to inmate. The only way you could get any kind of letters is if you boomerang, which is like I would write a letter out, mail it to, let's say, my mom. She would have to take the letter out of the envelope, put it in a new envelope, and address it to him from her. It couldn't be from me. And that's how we would have to do that. Somebody might call on three-way. Now, if they were in the same jail as you, there are ways to like sneak notes, which we called them kites. If you didn't know what pod they were in or anything like that, it would be hard to do. If you knew where they were at, if you knew you could get a kite to them, you would try. One jail I was at did allow inmate to inmate mail. So I was getting postcards from my boyfriend at the time that was in jail at another jail. This is what the postcards look like. This one is actually from a girl that I was really close friends with. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but she was someone that I was friends with before we went to jail. She just happened to be in jail when I went to jail, and then I got released and we kept in touch. I had went to sober living and she was wanting to get into sober living. As far as I know, she's still doing good. But yeah, these were the little postcards you had. You know, you wrote your letters on the back and then the front. You bought these from commissary. They already had the stamp on them. You would just fill it out and send it to whoever. Some jails you can mail letters, inmate to inmate. Some you cannot. So having a relationship, if you're somewhere that you can't write, it's hard. It's very hard to do. I think it's really hard when one of you is in jail and one of you is not in jail. That's so stressful because you're just wondering what's going on. What are they doing? And it's crazy because I was so naive in the beginning. When I was dating someone, they were like, don't cheat on me in jail. And I'm like, I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm in here with women. I don't like women. And it didn't make sense to me at the time, but now I know there's a lot of women that have been locked up for a while that end up getting girlfriends because they want that companionship while they're in jail. So they end up cheating on whoever they're with on the outside if they're with someone. And I didn't know that, of course, when I first went to jail, but you learn that pretty quick in there. But the relationships in jail were very messy. The girls that would date each other, oh my gosh, y'all, it was so messy. It's just like any other relationship. There was always arguing. Don't look at her. Don't talk to her. Don't sit by her. You couldn't be like best friends with her. You would see two girls date that really liked each other. And then you would see two girls together. One would be in charge of the other one. So it would be like their B, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there was just all kinds of relationships. There were some that were just best friends that said that they were dating. There were some that didn't date that were just best friends that were around each other all the time. I never physically saw a CO with an inmate. I saw COs hit on inmates often, but I never like saw it happen. I never saw them date or anything like that. When that kind of thing happens in jail, they will keep it as secretive as possible. It does happen. We've seen tons of articles online. I've seen tons of social media. I've seen tons of different relationships put on blast. People getting pregnant by COs or COs getting pregnant or inmates getting pregnant by COs. I've seen all kinds of stories about that. So it does happen in there. I was going to make a video about this. I still might. Some of you asked what happens in those relationships when somebody leaves before the other one. And I'm going to be honest with you. What I've seen is normally the person that leaves doesn't talk to the person that's in jail anymore. Very rare have I seen them stay in contact with that person. Because there's a lot of women that go back out into the real world to their regular relationships, or if they're married or if they date men, they only dated a woman while they were in jail. So that makes it more messy, more drama. So what'll either happen is the girl that's stuck in jail, her heart will be broken. She'll either be depressed or she'll move on to somebody else that's in there. That happens too. You see that a lot in there. People moving on quick. Girls will break up and be ready for the next relationship. And it's so crazy because there's more drama, I feel like, when women date. It's just crazy to see. And then there's, of course, the players, just like on the outside. There's girls that date multiple girls at the same time. There's girls that date multiple guys. There's guys that will date different girls in the same jail or the same pod, and that will be a whole nother mess. Fights. People fight. I swear, I think relationships were one of the top things that people would fight about in jail. It's so crazy. I would have never thought going to jail I would have seen that like I did. Like I said, I was naive when I first went. So for me, I was just thinking it's just going to be a place of just mean people that are scary. They're going to be angry, depressed, and stay away from them kind of thing. But it wasn't like that. I was surprised. It wasn't like that. It was just regular people like me. Of course, there were angry, scary people there. There's bad people there. But for the most part in jail, it was just people like me, just regular people that struggled with addiction, mental health, homelessness, or there's a lot of women that go to jail because of their boyfriend, husband, whether it's self-defense or they did something for them or they were around them when they did something or they were in the car or something. Love has you do crazy things sometimes, especially when you're using. I saw a lot of different stuff while I was in jail. The jails that allowed inmate to inmate mail, they also allowed inmate to inmate messaging. And the messaging we had was on a kiosk. I'll put a picture here. You would type a letter in and it's like almost sending like an email. If someone's on the outside getting those messages, which I've been on that side too. I've been on the outside when I was dating someone that was locked up. And when they sent me messages, you can set it up as an email or a text message. They were 50 cents to send one and receive one. So it would be $1. If I send you a message and you send me one back, that's $1 every time. And I think they were making us put $10 at a time on the account. Something like that. It's expensive. Phone calls are so expensive. They charge you, I don't know if it's like $3 for 3 minutes or $5 for 3 minutes, something like that. Even if you send somebody $20 a week for commissary, $20 really won't get you that much, especially if you need hygiene and you want snacks. And I know people don't think commissary is a necessity, but I'm telling you, some jails absolutely have to have commissary to survive in there, especially hygiene. No jails give you hygiene to keep up with yourself, to even be clean. And if you're not clean, you can catch diseases, bacteria, infections, just all kinds of stuff. I know when I was on the outside and my ex was on the inside locked up, I would put, when I could, I'd put anywhere from $20 to $50 a week on his account, plus the phone, plus the messages. It was just a lot. It was a whole lot going on. So how to communicate in a relationship, because you cannot just be walking around holding hands in jail. Like, that's not allowed. Even if two people tell a CO, yes, we consent to dating, we've been together, that's not how it works, because they don't know if you're really telling the truth or not. And you're in jail, so somebody could be threatening you, anything. So they just don't allow it in there, because if somebody doesn't consent and can't tell you that, because maybe something bad could happen to them if they tell, they just don't allow it. They don't allow it because they don't know for sure who is consenting and who isn't. So you have to sneak all that stuff. You have to sneak. Some jails, women sneak in the shower. Some jails, women sneak into each other's cells. Some jails, women just put blankets over the bunks. Some jails, women are with their cellmate, their bunkie. That is who they end up dating. It's just different in every jail. Now, as far as like men and women meeting up while they're locked up, that would be way harder to do. I think that's got to be why it's inmate and CO more often than like you being able to meet up with your man, because that would just be hard to do, really hard. Majority of the time, it was women COs in the pods with us. If a man was coming into the pod, they would always tell us, you know, ladies, make sure you're dressed, male on the floor, male on the floor. But we didn't have just a guy CO walking around, you know, our pod checking on us and stuff. I never experienced a guy watching us in the showers. Like, I've heard that happens in prison, that never happened in jail. It was always women with women, thankfully. And we always showered alone. Even when we had to do our initial shower, it was still stalls. There was no shower curtain or door on the stall, but we were all in individual stalls when we first got booked in. So yes, we all had to be in the same room to unclothe and then get in the showers, but it wasn't one shower for everybody. So of course you do get embarrassed. You get humbled really quick in jail. So if you're someone that's not used to being with no clothes in front of people, make sure your butt stays out of jail. It's all drama. Relationships are drama in jail, outside of jail, when one of you's in there, when both of you are in there, even when you both first get out of jail. Let's say you and your significant other both get arrested. Both of you end up bonding out or getting released around the same time. Trying to get back on your feet after that is really hard, especially if you lose everything and both of you are having to start over. If you become a felon, it can become very stressful. But let me show you guys something I found that I had from when I was in jail. They gave me a folder in a jail I was in, and I wrote all over this. I heart my ex's name, and then quotes. I had all kinds of stuff, you guys. Here is with my family's name. I drew this in jail. There's all kinds of, I have all kinds of stuff. Here is a letter from someone that was a good friend of mine in jail. This is another postcard. I just wrote like phone numbers and rehabs and stuff on here. Just for today, I found in jail, a prayer. These were the rehab numbers. See if these places can help you. I think these are in Tennessee. So if you're in or around Knoxville, Tennessee, screenshot that. There was all kinds of stuff we did in relationships for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, birthdays, just different stuff. You'd make different things with your commissary. You could make food, you could make gifts, cards, just all kinds of stuff. People get creative. I've seen jewelry. I've seen origami. Like, there's so much stuff. You just get really creative when you don't have technology to mess with. Relationships in jail and outside of the jail, they're the same. People are the same in and out of jail. There's good people, there's bad people. I know I say that all the time, but that's how relationships are. I'm going to try to do some more videos on relationships and dating and the stresses, the pros, the cons, just all that crazy stuff. And it's definitely way different in a men's pod than a women's pod too. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, a little bit about relationships and the craziness I went through. Y'all, I had a crazy boyfriend when I last went to jail, and he was writing all kinds of crazy stuff to me. I don't know. It was just crazy. I understand in a sense because you can't control what's going on when you're locked up. So you just think about the worst. You think the worst and think about every single thing, good and bad, ever in your life, or what could happen, what might happen, all that stuff. So I get it, but it was still crazy. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to talk about next, and I'll make a video about it. See you guys.